This video is going to cover the OpenRoads Designer Road 2 Bridge Invent Layout. I've got a list over here on the left side with all the videos that we're going to create for this exercise, and they're labeled. There's going to be 16 different videos, and they're labeled with various steps to do. So if you wanted to look at something as far as like maybe matching the existing pavement cross slopes, I'll have that in video 4, steps 29 to 31. If you were wanting to create a proposed terrain, there's steps out there, step 33. We'll do that. There's adding corridor references, adjusting our guardrail widening in accordance with the standard plan 606, how to place guardrail in 2D, 3D, using parametric constraints. How to do that. We do a lot of them in this exercise. Using an in-condition exception. And so there's something to do in there. And then talking about clipping. How to use shapes to clip. So there's going to be a lot of videos for this. The first video is going to cover steps 1 through 21, which will be a lengthy video compared to the rest of them. But it's the invent project setup. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move this off out of the way and come over to the manual. So when you look at the invent layout, what we're going to produce is what this screenshot looks like. So we're going to have our invent below, and it's going to have its slopes coming out. You'll see that we'll have a bridge approach slab. We'll have the roadway approach pavement, and then we'll have the existing road with some widening going on. And you'll also notice there's a bridge here. We're going to be bridge designers for a little bit. We're going to use parametric constraints to kind of make this all work, match these slopes going through here, make it all look real nice. We're also going to use parametric constraints to match the existing pavement cross slopes, and so that we can transition it into the 2% we want on both sides on the way out. We're also going to go place that guardrail in 2D and 3D. It's a pretty fun exercise, a lot of stuff to it, so let me get to it. Step 1 says we're going to open the exported graphics file within our Pike folder, which is our J2P 3081 job folder, exported graphics. I've already done it in the background to save a minute or so. We're going to review the existing survey graphics, and we're going to turn off all the levels except for the survey edge of pavement. Okay, so here we are. We've got exported graphics. This is one of the files that survey gives us. They give us a terrain file that has the boundary that we can turn contours on and off, major minors. We can turn on triangles, look at stuff, turn on flow lines. A lot of options in that, and that's fine. That's great for that file. But this file is just the dumbed down microstation graphics that we use that we need to target elements, okay? So in this case, what we're looking at is we got some edge of pavement out here. It's this gray existing. It's on a survey edge of pavement level, and then we have some shoulders. We're not really concerned about the shoulders. I'm just showing you that there's other information in here, but we're really concerned about these edge of pavements. We're going to widen our project, and it's going to be up here in the north side of it. We're going to widen, and we're going to tell our template to go out and find these plan elements that we have out here. Okay. Now the thing about ORD is we can't target survey feature definitions. So what we have to do is isolate those and then give them design feature definitions that our template can see and use. So the instructions said to turn everything off but those survey edge of pavements, and you can do it a number of ways. You can do it in the element selection tool. You can do it in here and pick the level and turn off what you want and don't want to see, all that good stuff. You can go back to the level display tool, which is a good one, and I always like to go to used for it and open it up so I can see everything. And this is pretty easy. You just come through and just slide through them while they're all off, and then, oh, we want survey edge of pavement, so we can turn it on. Or if they were all on, I'll turn them all back on. If they were all on, you can do the right click and do all except element and pick that survey edge of pavement line. Either way, however you want to get to it, you can get to it. So we got them out here. They're isolated. They're out there by themselves. Let's go back to our instructions. And it says, add a feature definition of EOP existing to the survey edge of pavement. Okay, elements that we have out here. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. I'm going to leave this file the way it is. I don't want to see the rest of that. But if you had shoulders you wanted to target or something, you would do the same thing. So to actually apply a feature definition to these elements, you normally go up to the civil or the geometry pull down, and then you can go to standards and then set feature definition. But now we have a toolbar that I'd like to kind of introduce in this video. It's a short little toolbar. It's really nice. It's got the feature definition toggle bar, which is also under geometry standards feature definition. They call it toolbar. But anyway, that's the bar that we usually use. We toggle this on, we apply feature definitions. That's what we normally use. This tool is always kind of, it's hard to find because you got to go back up to the standards and then set feature definition. I always thought that this tool should be on this toolbar. It's not. But we've made a toolbar, tool palette here, and we've placed some common tools that we need to use. There's some standard stuff we've got. We got our auto annotate and our persist snaps and civil AccuDraw. So that's pretty cool. We got that out there. We want to apply feature definition, and if you look up here, you can find it right in this area. Just set feature definition. We'll open it up. It defaults to alignment. I don't want to make these in alignment. I want to make them linear. So we'll pick that option. So alignment down to linear, and you can see we got all kinds of stuff. And then I have to tell it what feature definition. So I'm going to hit the pull down, go to linear, design, and we're wanting to put EOP existing out there, and that is located under roadway. We'll slide down to EOP existing. It'll give it the default name, and I'm good with that. And then all you have to do now is just locate by left clicking on each element that you want to put into that EOP existing feature definition. When you're finished, you simply right click or reset to complete. It's done. I can hit the element selection tool and come over, select it, and look at it and see the properties and verify that the feature definition is EOP existing. So that worked out pretty good. There's other ways of checking it too. I mean, but we got what we wanted on that. Let's look at our instructions. So feature definition has been added to this, and the reason for that is our template is going to go out and target that feature definition. Can't target survey elements, but if we change the feature definition, we're allowed to target them. So once that's been done, we need to create a new file, a new 2D file, and it's named Civil Geometry. So we're going to do that. It looks like our next couple of steps, we're actually going to import. So let's get the new file created. Well, it looks like we want to do our coordinate system, so we'll go add the coordinate system, and we'll talk about that as we go. So new file. File, new, no wizard. We'll hit OK. And verify you're in the right job folder. We are. This one's going to be the civil geometry file, so let's go ahead and type that in. Civil _ geometry _ job number. And again, this is because of the EPG and the way we have it designed in there. We always want the name of the file or the type of the file it is, then the job number. So once we've got it filled out like this, we're good to go. We'll go ahead and hit OK. Create this blank new file. And that's always a good process to do. And we'll check in our previous files. Okay, so once we get that, you can see down here in the bottom right, there's no coordinate system. So that was the next step. Go ahead and assign a coordinate. I tend to just grab it from the utilities ribbon. There's the coordinate system. You can do however you want. Once you get it open, I use this from file, and we encourage using from file. And the reason is because survey, when they give us the two files, and verify you're in the correct folder, when they give us the two files, the exported graphics and the existing terrain, those have the coordinates on them. So the reason I pick existing terrain is because it's a 3D file. Okay, it being a 3D file means I don't have to do anything but select it on the existing terrain file, hit open, and it's populated. If you pick a different file that has the coordinate system on it, you may have to pick which model it's from. It's not a big deal, but this way you're getting it straight from survey. They set it up, we get it, we're good to go. So it's all set. Green check mark down here. We're golden. Let's see what else we need. We need to set the annotation scale to 50. import our alignment and rename the alignment, and then annotate it. So let's do all that. 1 inch equals 50 on our scale. Annotation scale down here at the bottom. That just controls how large our text is. Next, we want to import that geometry. To do that, we go to the geometry ribbon, import, export, import. When it comes up, we're going to verify our folder. And what we're looking for is the XML. Now, it could be an old GPK, it could be an XML somebody sent you from a consultant or whatever. But what we're looking for is something that has the alignments and profiles on it. And this, I know, has it, and it's called mainline. So we're going to open that up. And when you do, you get eventually another dialog. And here's our import geometry. Now, I always like to talk about these little plus signs. When you're bringing in geometry, I always like to use the plus sign to navigate all the way down to profiles and then work my way back up. And the reason I do this is, as you can see, I'm opening them up. A lot of times when you get a XML or an old GPK, you'll have multiple profiles in here. And you only want one, maybe two. And this will allow you multiple to select the one that you want. When you do that, it knows it's going to go up and select the rest of it so that we're going to bring in the correct profile that we want. This case is easy. There's only one. So it's not a big deal. Down here it says, do you want to assign the feature definitions from a table? We could do that, or we can assign feature definition by picking linear features, point features. But if I look back up here, I can see in this folder structure that there's an area where it says alignment, and it's got MoDOT baseline proposed. That tells me that the feature definition's already assigned to that alignment. So I'm good. I won't have to do any of this down here. The other part that's important is the civil rules. When we bring in our geometry, we want to make sure they're smart elements, and no better way than creating the civil rules as you bring it in. So we're going to hit import and let it process. We'll do a fit view, and you'll see there's one big long alignment out here. Now the next step I believe was to annotate. So let's look. Oh, nope, it's rename the alignment, step 8. So let's do that. To rename it, I just select it, and then get your heads up prompts, go to your properties, and it was named mainline because it was named that in the XML, but we're going to call this route 14. And I always like to hit the enter key in this dialog to lock that value in. I can hover over it again and look at it, and it says the complex element is named route 14. It also tells me it has an active profile that we brought in, and it's called proposed. So that's cool. So we renamed it. Now let's annotate it. To annotate the alignment, all we need to do is go up to the Drawing Production tab, or ribbon. We'll go out to the Drawing Model Annotations, and you can see this is the icon. I want the element annotation. So I can see this is the one I want because it's got the arc underneath it and the A. But if you wasn't for sure, you can always pick the pull down and pick it from there. And annotate element. I'll go with the defaults on here. Select the element and reset, or right click in a blank area. It processes, and bam, we've got tick marks. We got majors that cross over. We got the minors on the left side. Again, the stationing runs from north to south. So we've got all our stationing out there. Got our tick marks. It has been labeled or annotated. Next thing we want to do is reference in the following files. We want to bring our exported graphic on our existing terrain and then activate the existing ground. So let's do that. Reference dialog. I like the one on the quick bar. You can choose it however you want. You can go to home and pick it. I just like it that it's right here in this quick access bar. And then I will go ahead and I like this a little bit larger. I'll do a tools attach, verify I'm in the right folder, grab my existing terrain, my exported graphics, add them in, hit OK, and then go with the defaults on the next two dialogues. Close out of my reference dialog, and you can see we're going to be working down here, right in this area. Okay, so that's that. The next thing was to activate the existing ground. So make that active. By selecting it, get our heads-up display, pick the second icon. Now our surface is activated, so our profiles will show everything be good. Let's see, activate existing ground. Hover over Route 14 alignment, verify that it is an active profile. We did that a step earlier too, but I can do that again. And it does tell me active profile proposed, third line down in that block of text. So I'm good there. Next thing we want to do is open the plan and plan file, attach the civil geometry, and review the plan geometry. So let's do that. I'll go back to ProjectWise. I'm going to open up this plan. And I will check in my changes. Checking in also updates the server copy, so we're good with that. Okay, so we got this graphics here. Let's reference in that civil geometry file so we can see what we're talking about. I'll do attach civil geometry and bring that in. Okay, so we're going to be working in this area right here. Okay, you can see the civil geometry's in, so I've got my alignment, I got my profile to it. There's some text out here, as you can see. The magenta text are just pointing out station points that we're going to use in our project that are important. Station ranges, where our template drops are going to go, our guardrail, all this stuff. So they're important stations that we went ahead and labeled. Okay, we're going to use these station ranges, our station numbers. You can see we got the roadway coming in. This is going to be match existing with some widening to it. So that's important. And then we have our roadway approach slab, which is area right in here, which we're going to match up to our roadway. And this is where we're in the middle here. We're going to match the existing cross slopes with our transition them to get to the 2% here. And then we have a bridge approach slab, which is in this area here before the bridge. And then eventually we're going to draw a bridge. We're going to have a bridge here. The other thing to talk about in here is we're going to build the bridge indent off of this line and this line and this line. We're going to do it counterclockwise. We're going to come in here and build an alignment around here with no radius. It's a complex element around it. We're also going to use these red lines out here on each side, and you can see when I hover over them, there are traffic control barriers. So what this is going to allow, and I'll go ahead and select it and look at the properties of it. What this is going to allow us to do is come out here and see if I can pick it, see what it does. Yeah, it's going to come out and it's going to say it has a feature definition of barrier type B617-20.01. So if we use this for our horizontal feature constraint and go out and look for these, we're able to use a display rule to target this line and give us barriers in our other file, in our models. So that's going to be kind of cool. We'll do display rules as well. So that's basically talking about what we're going to do with this here. Let's see. And we're going to stop on the north side. We're not going to do the south side. So we did that. We reviewed the plan. Next thing we want to do is create a new file named corridors. Okay, so we'll do that and assign the GCS and change the scale. New file for corridors. File, new, no wizard. Same job folder, we're good there. And then we're going to say corridors underscore J2P3081. I do a lowercase j there. Sometimes I don't hold it down correctly. Once I got it named the way I want, I'll go ahead and create that file, open it up, check it in eventually. Then our next step was assign the GCS. So again, utilities, coordinate system, use the from file option, and then existing terrain has it. You just select it, hit open, it's populated, green check mark, we are golden. Annotation scale of 50, that's easy enough. We'll go down to the annotation scales, pick our 1 inch equals 50, and then we want to reference in some files. So we're going to reference in civil geometry, existing terrain, exported graphics, and plans. That's everything but our corridors file, it looks like. So let's go back to that reference dialog. Tools, attach. 3081, we'll say civil geometry, existing, exported, and plan. Everything but our corridors. Hit OK, and then 4 more OKs to accept the defaults of the reference attachment. Okay, and I always like to stretch this out so I know what I've got here. So all of them are in here. I'll go ahead and close this, do a fit view. I believe next step is to actually make the terrain active. Let's see, activate the existing terrain. We'll do that. So grab our terrain, set as active terrain model. Second icon on there. Good. Next thing we want to do is open up the 3D view. So, and turn off the display of the exported graphics. So we'll do that. So let's do, let's see this again. F6 key to open the multi-model view. In the 3D view, turn off the display. Okay, so let's hit the F6 key. When you do it the first time, it doesn't tile them correctly, so you have to hit it the second time. And when you do, now it tiles correctly. So it was saying to come over here and turn off that exported graphics. So let's do that. Turn our references. Make sure that view 2 is highlighted. We'll go to our exported graphics, and we'll just hit the button down here that turns off the display. And then we'll close that out. So there we go. We've turned it off in that 3D model. Okay, so that's done. We want to turn off the levels that are common notes, or turn off the level common notes in the plan file reference. So let's go back over to 2D window, make sure it's active. Zoom in here, and that's all of these notes we have out here. Okay, so if you want to see them, you can turn them on at any time. But we're starting to get busy with this corridors, and we want to turn it off. Again, I want to do a used filter. I want to go to the plan file. That's where these notes are located. And I want to turn off common notes. And there we go. That's all off. I can see everything else I want. Close it out. Okay. It's saying verify all the levels in the exported graphics are turned off except for the survey edge of pavement. We could see that that's true because all we see from that exported graphics are these lines. So we're good. Okay. And that will conclude this video.